Hey, everybody. It's Taiwanda Bason, the border working specialist of TaiwandaBason.com. And I am back. Okay. So I started as Taiwanda Live, and I realized that the volume or the audio was muted. So I know that I could not be heard. So I decided to end the first one and get started with a new broadcast. So here I am, and welcome to Ask Taiwanda. Thank you for joining me again. Wherever you are in the world, you can jot that down in the chat section. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Also, make sure you share the broadcast so others know that I'm here. And I welcome you and thank you for tuning in. Today with Ask Taiwan, basically, I'm here to ask or for you to ask and to answer your questions related to TEFL, travel, and English. So, any questions related to those, feel free to ask. You can jot those down in the chat here, and I will try to answer those to the best of my ability. And I may even show some of your questions or comments on the screen as well, and may even invite you to come on the screen with me. But I want to thank you again for joining me. I'm currently in Da Nang, Vietnam, and it is after midnight here. So for some of you, it may be days, some of you, it might be night, wherever you are in the world. But I thank you for tuning in now, and those of you who may watch a little bit later. Um, so, I am Taiwanda Bason, the border breaking specialist, and basically, I provide consultation to individuals and organizations regarding life abroad, English language learning, foreign teacher recruitment, and cultural diversity. So you can ask questions related to those as well. But a little bit about the border breaking specialist, how I came to that title for myself is that I realized that in life, we have real borders, like the borders that define our cities, our states, our nations, borders of walls, all kinds of things. And those borders can be helpful to keep order and to keep things in. But in our lives, sometimes we have borders that are set up that can be negative to what we actually want to achieve, what we want to do in life. So, what I want to do as the border breaking specialist is to help others break free of those borders to do the things that they really want to do in life. Um, Follow their dreams, go after their goals. And that's something I've been able to help people with over time, over the years that I've been traveling. Many people want to travel and they think that they can't do it because of money reasons, or they just think it's impossible, or they just don't know, they don't have the right information in order to do it, or the right connections or leads. And that's what I'm able to help others with, whether it's travel, whether it's learning English as well, because I taught students in the classroom as well as outside of the classroom, online. And many of them, it's the same thing as to what's impeding them or keeping them from learning English, which is the borders that they've set, or that society has set, or someone else has set for them. And usually, once we get past that, they're able to achieve anything, their dreams that they want to work on then, and anything thereafter. So that's a little bit about why I call myself the border breaking specialist, to help people break out of those imaginary borders that have been set that are holding them back from accomplishing their goals and going after their dreams. Um, yes, so that's a little bit about the border breaking specialist. And I want to remind you guys, make sure that you share to let others know that I'm here. And if you have any questions, make sure you jot those down in the chat session here, and I will try to get to as many as I can to answer for you. Yeah, so like I said, I'm in Da Nang, Vietnam. It's a little bit after midnight right now, but let me know where you are tuning in from. And I hope that you can hear me, so let me go ahead and check that just to make sure that you can over on YouTube, my channel. Okay. So I see that you can actually hear me here, which is a good thing. Yes. But yeah, some of you may have tuned in earlier in the week when I shared about my journey over the past 10 years in a very special live about my journey traveling and teaching abroad. So this December 2019 marked 10 years since I first left the USA in 2009 to follow my dream of traveling the world. And I did it as an English teacher, starting off, that is. But yeah, that's pretty much how I got started traveling the world. And as I mentioned, that I will be sharing some things with you here tonight as well about my journey for those of you who may have missed it. So let me go ahead and get started with that. But first, before we go there, I also want to share with you uh, where you can reach me and find out more about me as well. So I'm gonna get that and put that on the screen for you. But I do have a website, and you can reach me on my website at taiwandabason.com. There you can learn a little bit more about me and what I'm doing, what I've done, what I offer, those type of things. And you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram and other social media platforms at Taiwanda Bason. So the beauty of having this name is that there's no one else in the world who has it, and I doubt there ever will, unless there's someone like in my family or someone else who has my last name, which is a unique last name, decides to name their child Taiwanda too. But as of now, there are no other Taiwanda Basons in the world. Some that may have similar or close names, but this exact same spelling. No, not at all, and not the same last name, definitely. But yes, and a little note about my name, just in case you don't know. A lot of times, students ask me, and others ask me, because my name does sound unique. So they ask me about the meaning. Well, my family doesn't really have a meaning, or didn't have a meaning for my name when I was born. However, when I became an adult, I was volunteering at a nursing home as part of a ministry. And there was a lady working there, like I think she was taking the linens or putting the linens in or something like that. But anyway, she had this bin. And so my name was on this name tag on my shirt. And she just completely stopped what she was doing and she looked up at me. Then she started walking towards me and she's like, your name. Do you know what that means? And I'm like, no, because I didn't. So she told me that my name, Taiwanda, means we are many. And she told me that it comes from some part of Africa. I want to say Northwest, but I'm not completely sure. It was several years ago, but it was a specific area in Africa, the continent of Africa. And so that was the first time anyone ever told me what my name, means. So I was like, very interesting, but it must have been very significant to her because she stopped what she was doing to come and tell me, do you know what your name means? It's like seemed like serious, very serious to her. Well, fast forward, I think several years later, I can't tell you exactly when, but the first time I ever went to China, which was in, I believe, 2013, and I got there right. So I was there to teach. And I remember one of my colleagues telling me before I got there that there were a lot of rumors or talks about me before I got there, especially about my experience and things I had done, places I had been among the uh, Chinese teachers. And when I got there, I guess they wanted to give me some time to like settle in before someone finally asked me. I think it was like maybe, um, I think it was in the first or second week, somebody finally decided to ask me, and they said, "Are you from Taiwan?" So it was funny to me, and I was like, "What in the world? Like, I'm not from Taiwan." Yeah, I know y'all saw my picture before I came, which they did. They had my picture and all my information. But at that point, when they were asking me, being that they were Chinese without from Taiwan, I was like, they must have people that look like me. And I realized that in some places where we think of those places as being homogenous, people looking alike, you know, generally, generally look alike. Not that they look alike, like, but generally, usually you go to China, the people from China. You go to Korea, the people from Korea, and me, I don't think I look like I'm from China or somewhere like that. So for them to ask, was I from Taiwan, and know that they had saw my pictures before, I was like, they must have some people that look like me. So in my travels, that's something that I found, like in places where people generally would think that everyone looks a certain way, they have certain hair, certain skin tones. There are people that actually do have similarities with me, and I've actually been mistaken for people in those particular places. So, including China and Korea as well. And I can see why they would ask if I was from Taiwan. But another reason as well why some ask me, because even now, since I started teaching online, I've had students from Taiwan too, and China, who saw my name. They saw me and they saw my name, and they want to know if I was from Taiwan, because my name literally means in Chinese Mandarin from or of Taiwan. So you have Taiwanda. The country's name is Taiwan. And then with the at the end, that means of or from. So that's another reason why they may ask as well, am I from Taiwan? Because of the literal meaning of my name in Chinese Mandarin. Yeah, so I thought that I would add that little bit in there. And I also want to remind you guys, if you have any questions or comments, to make sure you jot those down in the chat area. And I will try to get to as many of them as I can. So, yeah, let me go ahead and get this up here for you guys. I think this platform that I'm able to use, a Be Live, which broadcast here, is pretty cool. So yeah, again, make sure if you have any questions or comments, jot those down in the chat area, and I will get to those. As I see them. But as I said, I want to share a little bit about my journey of traveling over the past 10 years since I first started with you guys. For some of you who may have missed my live special, 10 years a travel dream. where I shared quite a bit about my journey and some of the countries that I've been to. So I'm going to share those tidbits with you here. Well, I first started back in 2009. December 2009 was when I left the USA for the first time to go after my dream of traveling the world. Yes, of my dream is traveling the world, and I came about that dream after high school. When I graduated high school, I said, "Oh, I want to travel the world." I also said, "I want to go to space." Haven't been to space yet, but the way Elon Musk is setting things up, hmm, possibly. I don't know. But yes, so when I left the USA for the first time in December 2009, I went to South Korea. Yeah, 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 yeah. Rah, 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 rah. um, and I was there for a year teaching English there in a rural area known or called Pocheon in Gyeonggi-do, um, Gyeonggi Province. So that was my first time ever going abroad, and I was super excited to go. And I think I had a pretty good. I think every place I've been has been a good experience. Taking in the positives and the negatives along the way as well. Um, but yeah, that was pretty cool. And after that particular experience, I decided that I wanted to go somewhere else because I was thinking about staying in Korea. But then I said to myself, well, hey, my dream is traveling the world. So why don't I go somewhere else? Because I did like Korea. Actually, Korea is the favorite country that I have lived in outside of the USA to this day. And I've lived in some other countries, but it's Korea's still my favorite, and I love Korean food. Yes, I love Korean food. Um, as a matter of fact, I have some kimchi in my refrigerator right now. Kimchi is good, but kimchi stinks. Yeah, it stinks. Okay, it stinks, but it's super good for your health, and it tastes so good. I had to get used to it when I went to Korea the first time because it was kind of spicy, and what I thought my family ate was spicy had no comparison to what they eat in Korea, considered spicy, and other countries that I've been to as well. But over time, I began to love spicy food, and now I love spice in my food for it to be hot. It don't have to be like flaming hot or anything like that, but it has some kick to it. And by the way, Korean food is not the most spicy food in the world. No, I think the spiciest food on earth must be Pakistani food. It must be Pakistani food. I had some while I was in Saudi Arabia, and that stuff was fire. Okay, it was fire. Um, but yeah. So after Korea, I went to I went to Saudi Arabia. So I was thinking about going to the Middle East. I was thinking more so the UAE and some other predominantly Muslim countries. But then I was like, well, hey, why not go to Saudi Arabia? Because it'll help me to hit all of them is kind of like at once because Saudi Arabia is considered the model country in the Middle East when it comes to countries that are predominantly Muslim. And I figured that, hey, um, if it's considered the model, then others must kind of somewhat pattern themselves after it. And if I go there, I get like a touch of all the possible um, variances of the culture and things like that. So I went to Saudi Arabia. And actually, before I went to South Korea, I had a classmate who brought it up to me about teaching English. Actually, there were two, and who was in. They were in my master's program, and so one of them was in Saudi Arabia. He was like, "Hey, why don't you come here?" And I was seriously thinking about it until I found like three articles online because I usually do research about places wherever I go, and those three articles didn't sound so good. So I said, I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna go to South Korea first. And so it's interesting that when I got ready to actually plan for my next venture after Korea, I thought to go to Saudi Arabia, and that's where I went. So Saudi Arabia was very interesting. As I travel, one of the things that I say to myself that I want to do is I want to see what life is going to be like, what the culture, the people, the food, things are really, really like not what you see on TV or not what you think in your mind. I don't want to see America. I want everything to cater to American culture or anything like that. I want to see the real, real. Okay. And so when I went to Saudi Arabia and all the countries that I've been to as well, I have these ideas in my mind about what people may have said, which again fits into those borders that I was talking about, where I call myself the border breaking specialist. I think about things that I heard people say, or maybe things I've seen on TV, stereotypes, generalizations, about whatever it may be. And when I get to the places, I think on these things and compare it to what I actually see to see if it's a true, is it not true, and sometimes it is true, and other times it's not true. So before I went to Saudi Arabia, I actually thought because you didn't really see a lot of pictures of the ladies from there, except if they had on, if they were covered, like their face and their bodies and everything with a baya, niqab, and hijab. So I thought that because that seemed to be their representation of being modest, you know, to see like just one color and only see not see like the different styles and things like this when they were covered up. I figured that underneath it was the same thing, that they probably maybe not wear makeup, jewelry, not wear like any very very stylish clothes. And when I say very very stylish, I mean like things that would set themselves apart, that maybe their dress was also similar to what they wore on the outside of their body and things. And when I got there, I couldn't have been more wrong. Yeah. So, like my first day on my first job there, because I've been through different places, and I worked at the university on the outside again, like women cover, because no man that you're not related to should see you. And but inside, when women center a place where they're all women, then usually women don't have on their abaya and don't wear the hijab and niqab, those things to cover, because you're all around all women. Well, at the university, when we got in and we were able to take those off, and then that's when I actually saw, oh my goodness, they are so stylish here. So I was like, oh my goodness, I was wowed by the style, the makeup, beautiful makeup, made up faces. And not everyone had on makeup, but like I said, I wasn't expecting to see any. So people that knew how to apply that makeup really well, and earrings that I'd never seen before. Like, oh my goodness, those are so cool. Like I saw somebody with safety pin earrings, and the style of dress for some of them was like very, very cool. So that was like something, a border that I had in my mind where I thought, oh, they're going to be plain Jane because of the outward appearance that I saw before I came, but that was proven wrong. Now, I was there in Saudi Arabia about 10 months. And of course, in between the times that over the 10 years, I've been back to the USA. So I intermittently go back. The longest was 2 years and 3 months, which was the last time that I was there. But um, yeah, going to the different places, I've been able to see what is true, and what is not. When it comes to those preconceived things or things that we think about different places. And before I keep going, I just want to remind you, you can jot your questions down in the chat section if you have any related to travel, TEFL, and English language learning. um, and I'll try to get to those questions and comments for you. again, I restarted this from before because I started and it was mute, so you couldn't really hear me. But yeah. So I also went to Peru. That was the third country that I went to. Peru was pretty cool as well. And yeah, it was. I really liked the weather in the city that I was in, Arequipa, Peru, which is located in the valley of the Andes Mountains, and the weather is mostly like dry, not humid. And I don't really like a lot of humidity, but I was born in the city and raised in a city where there is nothing but humidity all year long. Deep, 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 deep humidity. And most of the places where I end up going are very humid. But Arequipa wasn't. And I would say in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh is not humid. Very humid. It can get humid inside sometimes. But but yeah, it's not really humid. But Arequipa was that place for me with that weather. And it had about 300 days of sunshine. How about that? 300 days of sunshine a year. You know what the weather's gonna be like. But yeah, Peru was very interesting. Um, And that's when I realized also how, students try to learn English. We're teaching them English and then they go to the USA. And like people that I met in the USA before I started traveling there, like they got there and they couldn't understand what people were saying and realized that those thousand idioms or whatever that they learn, people don't use them. But yeah, when I went down to Peru and I took Spanish when I was in high school. People don't speak like that. People don't speak like the textbook. Okay, y'all need to practice outside of class. If you learn in Spanish in the USA and you go to travel, practice outside of class with somebody because that ain't how the people speak. The textbook, just like the people who come to America and they're like, oh my goodness, I can't understand anything. It's kind of how it is when you go to another country and you try to speak a language that you think you fluent in, or halfway fluent, or third fluent. Mm-mm. When you get there and you say that one word like hello in their language, and they think, oh, you got oh good, and they start it's like no. That's how it was for me with the Spanish. Okay, and then on top of that, just like in the USA, when we have different dialects or different accents, which vary, different words that people use, it's the same way for Spanish. So the people in the mountains speak something different. The people in the forest or whatever, jungles, they speak something different. Not jungles, no, they don't have no jungles there. I wonder why you said that. But yeah, they speak different. And then you got the city people. I remember one of my Peruvian friends, she was frustrated and annoyed one day, and she kind of like vented one day and was like, oh my goodness, I can't stand it. The people here speak one thing, they speak something, and what they speak of is not even Spanish. And I was like, whoa, calm down, mi amiga. Calm down. But yeah, Peru was pretty cool. So I taught there in like two language institutes. And after Peru was China. So China was also very interesting. I was in three different areas there, and got some things that were proven true from what I believe, or what I had heard before. For instance, like people were like back home, oh, they eat cats, dogs, like this. And I had somebody tell me one day, and it's not everybody, because there were some Chinese people that were like, no, nobody does that. Don't do that. It's like, no, some people do. Like they're like, no, who does that? Um, your colleague over here. So, a young lady who was an intern, she was telling me how her aunt introduced her to eating cats. And at first she thought it was weird, but then she tasted it. She was like, it was good. It's like, okay, okay, okay. Um, so it's like, yeah, that was true. And then the dog thing, yeah, of course, that is true. They have a festival for that one right there. But yeah, it was quite interesting in China. I was in three different places: Zhongshan, China, in Shanghai, and in Chongqing as well. And I also learned that in China, when you are crossing the street, you need to give cars the right of way. You just try to walk out there when that light goes green in certain places without paying attention to the traffic because they may still go. Okay. And you just might be roadkill. I found that out as I was in China. It's not like home where, they may stop or anything like that. They may honk the horn for you to get out the way, even though the light is green or you're the pedestrian crosswalk. Okay. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So I was in China 3 different times. And then while in China, I decided I didn't want to teach in the classroom anymore. And I, yeah, I that's when I started thinking about my business then, which I eventually started like maybe I think yeah it was like a little over a year after I stopped teaching in China, and I started my travels up again last year. This time I'm traveling more freely because most of my work is done like online or by phone, so I can just freely leave when I want to and go where I want. But anyway, thank you for those of you who have tuned in or are tuning in. I appreciate it. And hopefully next time we'll get some questions answered for you. It's a little over 30 minutes, and I had started over, so I'm going over time because when I previously started the broadcast, I realized that I had muted the audio, so you couldn't really hear what I was saying. But again, I'll be having Ask Taiwanda Lives again in 2020. So make sure you watch out and look out for my posts for when those are going to be. And I'll be bringing you some other interesting things as well with my broadcast, World Border Breakers, where I do interviews and also give you the Lifestyles and Cribs edition, so you can see tours of other expats living abroad who love their homes. And yeah, continue to follow me. And if you want to find out more about me, let me get that information for you. You can find me online at TaiwandaBason.com. That's my website. I'm going to get this on the screen for you. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Taiwanda Bason. And other social media platforms, just put in Taiwanda Bason. If I'm there, you're going to find me because I'm the only Taiwanda Bason in the world. Thank you, Lord, for my name. But yes, I thank you so much, all of you who follow me, whether on social media, check out my website, those who've been with me along my 10-year journey, those of you who like my posts and things that you see, who tune into my videos, who send encouraging words to me, who let me know if my services or the information I share assist you, and all of you who just tune in, who are watching, and you may never say anything. I thank you all. And for those who share. Thank you. I thank everyone who's been a part of my journey because if you've contributed in any kind of way. Thank you. I'm so glad that you were able to join me today, and I hope that you have a really awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you in the future, 2020, for future as Taiwanda's live. Bye bye.